I'm Lori and I love books. And today I'm going to go over some books I plan on unhauling because I'm going through my spring cleaning and I found some books I like, but I don't plan on rereading or I don't plan on reading at all. So the first one is The Wind in the Willows. So I had said that this was the Barnes & Noble edition, but this actually is the Templar Books edition. And so I do plan on keeping this one because it has these beautiful full-page illustrations in it, and it does have a very nice cover. But this is the Barnes & Noble edition, so I think you can understand my confusion because they're both very similar colors, very similar type of design. I mean, obviously they're in a boat at an angle as opposed to like looking at it from the side, but very similar. So this edition from Barnes & Noble I do plan on letting go of. The illustrations are just not as beautiful as the Templar books. And some of them are like in black and white and they just aren't as, you know, magical. And that was, yeah, I said that right. So I'm going to let go of this edition and keep the other edition. And then this book, A Spell Book for the Seasons by Tudor Beth. I enjoyed reading it, but then when I tried to actually do some of the spells in it, it was either things I didn't have access to or they were too expensive. So I'm going to let this go and try some other books instead. This book I read once and I really enjoyed it, but I don't plan on ever reading it again. And that's Purple Days by Sherry Shahan. And it's basically 4 to 6 different characters explaining how they're feeling through poetry during the Vietnam War. So it was a very interesting book, but I just don't plan on ever rereading it. The next one is Under the Peach Tree by Charla Marie. And it was a good little novel, but not the best, not a very believable story. It is a contemporary fiction about 2 twin sisters. One is given everything and the other is basically abused by her mom. And so it was an interesting story, but I almost DNF'd it, so I definitely know I'm not going to read it again. The next one is Mountain Born by Elizabeth Yates. It's about a little boy who raises a sheep and shepherds in the mountains, and it was an interesting book, but not really one I'll reread and not one I plan on keeping for my collection. And then there's Tiger Rising by Kate DiCamillo, and this was a good book, but also very sad, and you know, it was good to read once because I did enjoy reading something that was a bit different and a bit outside of my comfort zone, but yeah, one time was, I think, enough for that book. This one I really liked, and the cover, and I wish I had liked the inside as much as I liked the cover, but I kind of felt like it was lacking something, and I'm not even sure what that something is. And that's The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackay. Is it Mackay or Mackenzie? I'm not sure about the last name. But the whole book is just one poem about these 4 characters, and it's interesting, but I also, I kind of kept waiting for that thing that just would be like, oh, that got straight to my heart, and I just never found that in this. So hopefully somebody else can find something that's magical for them in that book. And then this one, I might read more of the series. Not sure what the kitty's doing. It's Mrs. Piggle Wiggle by Betty MacDonald, and it was enjoyable, but at the same time I kind of felt it was a little outdated, and I have so many series I still have to read, so I'm gonna let go of it for now, and then if I run out of series to read, I might think about getting that series. And then this next one is a graphic novel called Witch for Hire by Ted Nefai. And it was an interesting graphic novel. I really liked how the colors were kind of different from what I'm used to because they weren't really bold colors like superheroes, and they weren't all just like dark and gray and gritty, because you got like some very pretty greens and yellows and purples and oranges. So I did like the colors of the book, but you know, I kind of was hoping it would be a series, and then I haven't seen any more from the author, so I'm sure somebody else will enjoy this more than I do. And then these next three are picture books. The first one is Millions of Cats by Wanda Gay. This was a cute little book, but you know, it doesn't really fit my collection of books, so I'm going to let this one go. And then Little Witch Hazel, A Year in the Forest by Phoebe Wall. I did enjoy it, but I also, you know, kind of, like, I kind of had wanted a little, like, I really liked the first story about the owl, and I kind of wanted more nature, and it was more about the elves and witches and everything that lived in the woods, as opposed to it being about nature in the woods. So it was more about a setting than a, you know, integral to the plot. So I'm going to let this go. I'm sure somebody else will really enjoy it. It was a very adorable book, and I do still recommend it, but it wasn't, it's just not for me at this time in my life. And then the last book is The Secret Garden, which is a picture book version of it. And I was really hopeful of this because I do love that story, but I think that's the reason I didn't like the picture book, is because I've read the whole story, and it took all the plot out of this picture book. It just like left the bare minimum, and it's like this is a really gorgeous novel, and I wanted it to be turned into a really gorgeous picture book, and it just wasn't. So those are the books I plan on letting go of. How's your spring cleaning going? If you're doing that, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, have a lovely time reading. Bye!